English Edge podcast.
From the English Clarity Lab.
Hello and welcome back to the English Clarity Lab, the podcast where we unpack the messy, beautiful reality of learning English and give you the exact tools you need to speak with absolute confidence. I'm Mary, your analytical guide through the twists and turns of English grammar and social nuances.
And I am James, your resident crash test dummy for the English language. Seriously, if there is a social trap or an awkward linguistic corner to back myself into, I have probably done it twice today already. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, James, and don't be so hard on yourself. Mistakes are just data points on the road to fluency. But speaking of awkward corners, let's talk about that moment when someone asks you a question in English, your mind goes completely blank, and your heart starts doing a little panic dance.
Oh, I know that dance well. It usually ends with me staring blankly, blinking like an owl, and blurting out, I don't know. It feels like a total conversation killer, Mary. It's like a giant red stop sign.
Exactly. And that is precisely why we are here today. Saying, I don't know, isn't grammatically wrong, but socially and professionally, it can sound a bit, lazy or dismissive. It shuts down the interaction. Today, we are breaking down why we say it, why you should stop, and we will give you 5 powerful native-approved alternatives that will actually make you sound more professional, even when you have absolutely no idea what the answer is.
Wait, so I can not know the answer but still sound like an absolute genius? Sign me up immediately. What is the actual problem with I don't know? Why does it feel so bad to say it?
Let's look at the psychology behind it. When a native speaker asks you a question, they aren't just looking for a database retrieval. They're inviting you into a micro-collaboration. When you say, I don't know, with a flat intonation, the underlying message can accidentally sound like, I don't care, please stop talking to me.
Ouch, I definitely don't mean to sound mean. I'm usually just trying to survive the conversation.
Of course you are. And that's where our first target phrase comes in handy. Instead of dropping that heavy verbal anchor, you can use a phrase designed to buy you some time. James, imagine your boss walks up to you and asks, hey, do you know when the quarterly budget report will be finalized? You don't have the date. What could you say instead of, I don't know?
Give me 5 minutes while I run away?
Tempting, but no. Try this instead. Let me double check that and get back to you. Let's break down why this works so beautifully.
Let me double check that. It sounds active, right? Like I'm already on the case.
Precisely. It shifts the focus from your lack of knowledge to your willingness to take action. Let me double check that implies that you might have the information somewhere, or you know exactly where to find it, and you're going to verify it to ensure accuracy. It protects your professional credibility completely.
Oh, I love that. It turns a negative moment into a customer service moment. Let me practice that intonation. Let me double check that and get back to you. How was that?
Perfect. You kept the pitch steady. Now, what if you're in a casual conversation? Say a friend asks you, hey, James, what time does the Italian restaurant down the street close on Sundays? You can't double check a website easily while walking. What's the casual alternative?
Maybe something about my head, like it's not inside my head?
Close. The idiom is, off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure, but... Let's examine this structure because it's a brilliant B1, B2 level combination. Off the top of my head means you're searching your immediate memory right now without checking external facts.
So it protects me if I guess wrong.
Exactly. It signals to the listener, I'm giving you an estimate, not a promise. So the full sentence would be, off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure, but I think they close around 9 p.m.
Wow, that sounds incredibly smooth. It flows so much better than just a cold, hard, I don't know. It feels like I'm actually participating in the conversation instead of building a wall.
It really does. And notice how we paired it with, I'm not entirely sure, but that little word entirely softens the blow of the uncertainty. It's much softer and more polite than, I don't know.
Right, because I don't know sounds like a 0% certainty, but I'm not entirely sure feels like maybe 30% or 40% certainty. It leaves a little door open.
Exactly. Now, let's move to a corporate or a workplace scenario where you're put on the spot during a meeting. This is a nightmare scenario for many A2 and B1 learners. Your manager looks at you and says, James, why are the website traffic numbers dropping this week? You haven't looked at the analytics dashboard yet. You feel the sweat starting. What do you say?
My instinct is to say, I don't know, I haven't looked, but based on what you've taught me, that probably sounds like I'm slacking off.
It does. It sounds defensive. Instead, use a phrasal verb that native speakers use constantly in business to look into something. You can say, I'm actually looking into that right now, and I'll share an update by the end of the day. Or, if you haven't started yet, that's a great question. Let me look into that and report back.
Let me look into that. That sounds so executive. It sounds like I'm a detective on a mission.
You are a detective, a data detective. By using to look into, you're telling your manager that you recognize the importance of the question and you're assigning yourself the task of finding the answer. You're controlling the narrative.
This is honestly a game changer for my stress levels. But Mary, what if someone asks my opinion on something I genuinely know absolutely nothing about? Like if someone asks me, James, what do you think of the latest updates to the compliance regulations for international maritime shipping? I don't even know what maritime means. I can't look into that by the end of the day.
Fair point. If it's completely outside of your area of expertise, you shouldn't pretend you're going to research it. In that specific case, you want to pivot politely. You can say, I'm not the best person to answer that, but you might want to ask Sarah from the legal department. Or simply, that's a bit outside my wheelhouse, to be honest.
Outside my wheelhouse? What is a wheelhouse? Are we on a boat now?
It's an idiom. A wheelhouse historically refers to the shelter for the steering wheel of a ship, but in modern English idiom usage, it means your area of expertise or skill. If something's outside your wheelhouse, it means it's not your specialty.
Oh, that is brilliant. That's a bit outside my wheelhouse. It sounds so much more dignified than saying I'm clueless about shipping laws.
It really does. It shows self-awareness. Let's review the 5 strategies we've covered so far to make sure our listeners can jot them down. James, give me the phrases you've learned today for different situations.
Okay, let's see if I can do this without looking at my notes. If I need to check data or a specific fact at work, I can say, let me double check that and get back to you.
Excellent. That's phrase number 1.
If I'm in a casual chat and making a guess from memory, I can use off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure, but...
Perfect. Phrases number 2 and 3 combined beautifully.
If my boss asks me about a problem I need to investigate, I can say, let me look into that and report back.
Spot on. That's phrase number 4 using our phrasal verb.
And finally, if someone asks me about maritime shipping or something else I know nothing about, I can say that's a bit outside my wheelhouse.
Brilliant, James. Look at that. 5 sophisticated native-level alternatives that keep the conversation flowing and protect your confidence.
Honestly, just knowing these phrases makes me feel less terrified of being asked questions. It's like having a shield in my pocket.
And that is the goal of English clarity. It's not about knowing every single fact in the world. It's about managing the communication gracefully when you don't know.
A pivot, like a basketball player keeping one foot on the ground but turning their whole body in a new direction?
Wow, James, yes, that is actually a flawless analogy. When you say, I don't know, you drop the ball, the game stops. But when you use a phrase like, let me look into that, you keep one foot firmly planted in the conversation while turning toward a solution. You maintain the momentum of the interaction.
Okay, I'm feeling incredibly empowered right now, but let's look at the flip side of this. What happens if I use these phrases, but my delivery is totally wrong? Like, what if my voice shakes, or what if I sound like I'm reading from a textbook? Does the magic still work?
Ah, the delivery. This is where the structural mechanics of intonation come into play. Let's do a quick live experiment. James, I want you to say the phrase, I'm not entirely sure, but I want you to drop your pitch at the end of the word sure. Give it a very flat, heavy tone.
Okay, let's try it. I'm not entirely sure, but... Oof, that felt heavy. It sounded like a dead end, didn't it?
It did. It sounded like a polite way of saying, go away. Now, let's fix the intonation profile. In English, when we want to signal that more information is coming or that we are open to further discussion, we use a slight rising intonation at the end of the clause. Listen to the difference. I'm not entirely sure, but... Notice how my voice lifts slightly on sure and trails off on but? It creates a linguistic bridge. Try it.
Okay, lift at the end. I'm not entirely sure, but... Oh, wow, that actually felt totally different to say. It felt like I was handing the microphone back to you instead of dropping it on the floor.
Exactly. You are inviting the other person to help you build the bridge. This is a vital tool for our B1 and B2 learners. When you lift your pitch, you signal cooperation.
That is fascinating. It's not just the words, it's the literal music of the voice. But wait, Mary, let's go back to our A1 and A2 listeners for a second. Some of these phrases, like off the top of my head, might feel a bit long or intimidating to pronounce when you're caught off guard. Do you have a shorter, punchier emergency phrase for someone who is still building basic vocabulary?
I absolutely do. If you are an absolute beginner or intermediate learner and you feel the panic rising, you can use this simple 3-word phrase. Let me check.
Let me check. Short, sweet, to the point.
Yes, it is simple, grammatically foolproof, and completely professional. If someone asks you, is the meeting room available? And you don't know, don't say, I don't know. Just smile, look at your phone or computer, and say, let me check. Even if you're just checking your own memory for 3 seconds, it sounds incredibly proactive.
That is so elegant. Let me check. It gives you an instant 3-second vacation to collect your thoughts and buy yourself some time.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about a variation of this that works beautifully when you want to show that you used to know the information, but it has temporarily slipped your mind. James, has this ever happened to you? You know someone's name or you know a specific vocabulary word, but right when you need it, it completely vanishes.
Oh, literally every single hour of my life, Mary. It's like my brain has a screensaver that turns on at the worst moment possible.
We have a specific idiom for that exact feeling. It's on the tip of my tongue.
It's on the tip of my tongue, right, because it feels like the word is physically right there, just waiting to jump out of your mouth, but it's stuck.
Exactly. This is an incredibly useful phrase because it lets the listener know that you do possess the knowledge, which preserves your credibility, but you just need a brief moment for your brain to retrieve the data. For example, if someone asks, what was the name of that marketing agency we hired last year? You can say, oh, what were they called? It's on the tip of my tongue. Give me 1 second.
That feels so natural, and the best part is, when you say it's on the tip of my tongue, the other person will usually try to help you guess it. They'll start shouting out names to help you.
Yes, it turns a moment of forgetfulness into a collaborative guessing game. You've successfully transformed an awkward silence into an active social connection.
This is pure gold, Mary. We've gone from the cold, isolating I don't know to a whole toolkit of phrases that actually pull people closer to us. But let's talk about the workplace again. What if a client asks you a highly technical question and you genuinely need to do a lot of research? Like, it's not just a matter of looking into it for 5 minutes, it's going to take days.
Great question. In professional client management, honesty combined with a clear timeline is key. You never want to leave a client hanging with an uncertain answer. In that scenario, you can combine our phrasal verb to look into something with a specific time commitment. You can say, I want to make sure I give you the most accurate information, so let me look into that and send you a full update by Friday.
Oh, wow. Let's look at the anatomy of that sentence. I want to make sure I give you the most accurate information on that. That makes the client feel so valued. You're basically saying, I care about you too much to give you a sloppy answer right now.
Exactly, James. You are framing your lack of an immediate answer as a sign of high quality and respect. The client won't think, oh, James doesn't know the answer. They will think, wow, James is thorough. He cares about accuracy.
Man, the psychology of language is wild. It's all about perspective framing. It's like changing the camera angle on a scene.
It absolutely is. Let's do a quick speed round to test your instincts with these new variations. I'm going to throw a scenario at you and you pick the best phrase. Ready?
Oh boy, okay, my brain is ready. Hit me.
Scenario 1. You're at a family dinner. Your aunt asks you, James, how many people live in London? You have no clue what the exact census numbers are, but you want to guess. What do you say?
Family dinner, casual, guessing. Okay, I'll say, off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's around 9 million.
Brilliant. Perfect execution. Scenario 2. You're in a high-stakes Zoom meeting with a major client. The client asks, does this software version support integration with our older accounting system? You didn't build the software, so you don't know the technical compatibility specs. What's the move?
Okay, high stakes. I need to look professional and thorough.
I will say, I want to make sure I give you the most accurate information on that, so let me look into our system specifications and get back to you by this afternoon.
Flawless. 10 out of 10, James. You didn't panic, you didn't say, I don't know, and you gave them a clear professional timeline.
Wow, I actually felt a wave of professional authority washing over me just saying those words. I might start wearing a suit to these podcast recordings now.
Please do. I'd love to see that. But truly, do you see how much power these structures give you? They completely remove the shame of not knowing something.
They really do. It takes away that feeling of being a bad student who didn't study for the test, because in real life, nobody has all the answers all the time.
Exactly. Real life is an open book test. And speaking of testing our limits, that brings us toward the end of today's deep dive. Before we wrap up, let's summarize the core lesson for our listeners. If you take away just one thing from today's episode, let it be this. Your fluency is measured by how you handle the gaps in your knowledge, not just by the words you have memorized.
Wow, Mary, that belongs on a motivational poster with a picture of a kitten or a mountain. Fluency is measured by how you handle the gaps in your knowledge. I love that.
Thank you, James. No kittens required, just good linguistic strategy. Next time you feel that urge to say, I don't know, pause, take a breath, and choose one of our 5 lab-tested phrases to buy yourself some time.
And remember to keep that intonation lifting up at the end to keep the conversation bridge open.
Perfect reminder, James. Thank you all for tuning in to the English Clarity Lab today. Don't forget to check the show notes for the complete list of target vocabulary and structures we used in this episode. Practice them in the mirror, try them out at work, and watch your confidence soar.
See you in the next episode, everyone. Keep talking, keep experimenting, and stop saying, I don't know. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.